Sean, can you hear me?
Yes, Commissioner Williams, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. I just left everything over there for your signature. Sign at your leisure. Sometimes I'm not coordinated enough to talk and hand you things. So I'll work on that. Work on my skills.
I'm giving it all to you along with the directions that Roger gives.
All right.
It's Thursday, we have to take that pad in or send it into the paper. Those are just the validation papers, but after we get the resolution, we can start getting the signatures.
All right. I'll take this. Thanks. I'll add it to my.
Two versions, the right version and the wrong version this morning.
I printed out the right one. It's in the pile.
Commissioner Ritt?
Well, good morning, Rockdael. Good morning, and happy birthday, Rockdael. Let's give the county a wonderful round of applause. 150 years, 1870 to 2020, Rockdael County. It is truly good to be here this Tuesday morning. Absolutely. We are celebrating so many things in our great and wonderful county. We believe that Rockdael County, without question, is the best county in the state of Georgia. No doubt about it. This morning, we are celebrating 150 years of Rockdael County being an official county here in the state of Georgia. Commissioners, today is Tuesday, October the 13th, 2020. It is shortly after the 10 a.m. hour. We're located here at 903 Main Street in the Rockdael County Auditorium. We're calling this meeting to order. None other than our good friend, Pastor Jamie Kroon from the Redeeming Love Christian Church will lead us in a word of prayer and invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Kroon, come on up.
Am I on? Oh, there we go. Good morning, Commissioner and distinguished members and everyone else here gathered today. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here, certainly on this birthday celebration day. Let us go before the Father. Let us go before the throne of mercy and grace to find help in our time of need. Father, we say that this is the day that you have made. We are glad and also rejoicing in it. And so we enter now into your gates with thanksgiving and into your courts with praise. We are a thankful people and we bless your holy name. For the Lord is good and his mercy it continues and endures towards all generations. We thank you for this day, a day filled with purpose, grace, and mercy, a day filled with your blessings. And you've allowed us each to participate in this day. We know that because we're still here, and for that we are thankful. Father, we need your guidance. Lead us now by your Spirit into your will for this day. Keep us safe from harm and protect us with all the strength of your right hand. Father, I pray for these leaders, for your word declares that when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So we thank you, Father, for these righteous leaders, these righteous men and women who have given themselves over to lead this great county. Crown them now with wisdom that they might make the right decisions and the best decisions for the good people of this great county. Father, if there be any that lack wisdom, your word declares that if we would ask you for it, that you would give it to us all liberally, and you would not braid it up, but you shall give it to him that asks. And so, Father, we ask you today for wisdom. We ask you today for your guidance. We ask you, Father, to lead us into your will, your purpose, and your plan. Father, we ask that in the precious, matchless, powerful name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen and amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Jamie, and thank you to all of the members over at the Redeeming Love Christian Church here in Rockdale County. Pastor Jamie and his congregation, Commissioner Washington, Commissioner Williams, I like to call them a quiet storm. They actually do a lot here in our community. They don't make a big fuss about it. They don't look for the fanfare. They're not out front waving a flag, anything. They're just taking care of God's people and taking care of the citizens of Rockdale County behind the scenes and very quietly. And they pack a very powerful punch, doing a great job without any recognition and any fanfare, as I stated, just doing God's work. And I think the way that they move throughout the community, Director Rutledge, their church is properly named Redeeming Love Christian Church. Let's give Pastor Kroon and his congregation another round of applause. Commissioner Williams, Rockdale County, as you stated, is just blessed to have well over 300 churches in our community. And as we celebrate, and we'll be talking about our celebration all day long today, Commissioner Washington, as we celebrate 150 years of Rockdale County being a county, you're going to hear us talk about the fact that our county was named after a church, Rockdale Baptist Church. At this time, I want to move forward. We have a lot on the agenda this morning as we are in a very celebratory mode this morning, and thanks to our public relations department who's done a fantastic job lining everything up. This morning we have special recognitions and presentations. We're starting with the National Community Planning Month proclamation. We'll start there first and followed by the National 4-H Week proclamation. We'll go from there.
Mr. Chairman and Madam Commissioners, if you'll make your way to the podium, and the representatives for the Planning Month proclamation, if you'll make your way to the podium, please.
that's the truth. Good morning. We all there? Good morning, y'all. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places, and whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas the full benefit of planning require public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation, and whereas the month of October is designed as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories, and whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of planning commissions and other citizens planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of Rockdale County. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and regional planners of Rockdale County, and extend our heartfelt appreciation for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, the Rockdale County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim the month of October 2020 in Rockdale County as Rockdale County Community Planning Month. Chairman Oz Nesbitt Sr., Sherry L. Washington, Commissioner Post 1, and Dr. Doreen Williams, Commissioner Post 2.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this recognition by the Rockdale County Board of Commissioners this morning. Although I am merely serving in the role as the interim director of planning and development, there is no way that we could get anything done without this fantastic staff. But I first want to say thank you not only to the Board of Commissioners, but Rockdale County has been so fortunate to be able to have such a steady flow of volunteers that serve on the Planning Commission who take their job very seriously. Community planning is a very intimate part of community planning, and it is so very important. So before we conclude this proclamation and recognition, I'd like to turn it over to the Deputy Director of Planning and Development, Teresa Jacobs.
Thank you, Director Rutledge. I won't take it just a minute. I just wanted to say thank you for this recognition, for this staff, for this department. A lot of great people working in this county, in this department. We're very fortunate to have all of them. And I will say COVID did not slow us down much. We continued on very busy during that COVID stretch, and it's very exciting to see all the things going on in this county. So thank you for this today. It's certainly appreciated by me and all of the staff. Thank you.
Very briefly, I'd like to say it's difficult to talk about planning and development without talking about, or at least thinking about, economic development. When you talk about the growth of the community, the growth of any county or municipality, you really have to lend your mind to those folks who are planning and laying out the groundwork for any community and any particular city. Our planning and development department here in Rockdale County is second to none. The leadership of Deputy Director Teresa Jacobs and this team, also our code enforcement team, and many others that you don't see standing here on the stage, actually work behind the scenes tirelessly to make it all work and make it all come together. I think Director Rutledge and Commissioner Washington, Commissioner Williams, that it is ironic that whereas we're celebrating 150 years as a county, we're also celebrating planning and development and the importance of having the right planners on board to move this county continuously forward. Let's give them another round of applause.
Mr. Chairman and Madam Commissioners, we also now have the 4-H Week proclamation, and they are making their way up to the stage.
Commissioner Washington and Commissioner Williams, ladies and gentlemen, today we also have the honor of presenting a proclamation. And it reads, whereas the young people of Georgia and Rockdale County are our greatest natural resource, whereas the 4-H program has assisted in the growth and development of Georgia and Rockdale County's youth for 116 years. And whereas adult volunteer leaders and advisors are devoting their talents, leadership, and resources to serving these leaders of tomorrow. And whereas 4-H helps its members discover and acquire the essential elements of positive youth development, of mastery, generosity, belonging, and independence in the areas of leadership, civic engagement, healthy living, and science. And whereas Georgia 4-H entices young people and adults to become involved in educational and entertaining programs offered by a 4-H program in Rockdale County, through the University of Georgia College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences Cooperative Extension. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Rockdale County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the week of October 4th through 10th, 2020 in Rockdale County as National 4-H Week. Witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the official seal of Rockdale County to be affixed on this 13th day of October 2020. Chairman Oz Nesbitt, Commissioner Sherry Washington, and Commissioner Dr. Doreen Williams. Give them a round of applause. Our leadership with our 4-H and our UGA Cooperative Extension team is led by none other than Miss Brittany Teets. I'm gonna ask Miss Teets if she would at this time come forth and give us a few words of wisdom and tell us a little bit about her team and how you all got to this particular point. Ms. Teets.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to thank the Board of Commissioners for allowing us this opportunity to be recognized. We are doing some great things in Rockdale County for our young people, and like planning and development, COVID has not slowed us down. We are still giving great opportunities to these kids. We have one of our new Clover Bud members. Our Clover Bud is our kindergarten through 3rd grade, so he joined us today to accept this recognition. Of course, I couldn't do it alone. I have a wonderful team behind me that's able to offer these opportunities for these young people, and I appreciate the support from the Board of Commissioners because we couldn't do what we do without them. So thank you so much.
Who's this young fella joining? What's his name?
Logan Scott.
Logan Scott. Hey, Logan, how are you?
He's in kindergarten.
That's
He's our
okay.
brand new member.
Well, he's already on stage. Y'all give Logan a round of applause.
He already said he was going to be shy. Can you smile for the camera? Oh, look at that. Can't tell me.
Like, I'm not smiling either.
Mr. Chairman and Madam Commissioners, if you will indulge me in a second and don't take your seats yet. And Commissioner Williams, don't worry, we have you on the screen right now. At this moment, I'd like Satara Koot to read off the proclamation that's actually been done the last 50 years for Rockdale County to recognize today, and we'd like to present this to the board. Ms. Koot.
Thank you, Director Diaz. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Madam Commissioners. The proclamation reads, whereas Rockdale County was created by an act of legislature on October 18, 1870, and whereas Rockdale County was formed from portions of Henry and Newton counties and named for Rockdale Baptist Church, and whereas the city of Conyers was incorporated in 1854 and is the county site of Rockdale County, and whereas numerous community and civic organizations, including the Conyers-Rockdale County Historical Society, the Conyers-Rockdale County Chamber of Commerce, the Progressive Club, Black Heritage of Rockdale County GA, and several others have made concerted efforts to work towards the goal of preserving the history and heritage of Rockdale County for the present and future generations. And whereas a day needs to be set aside for present and future generations to recognize and celebrate the founding of Rockdale County, and whereas it was first established October 9th, 1979, that Rockdale County would continuously acknowledge October 18th as Founders Day in Rockdale County. As we celebrate the sesquicentennial anniversary of Rockdale County, we renew this tradition. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Board of Commissioners of Rockdale County, do hereby proclaim that henceforth, October 18th, in Rockdale County will be recognized as Rockdale County Founders Day. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the official seal of Rockdale County to be affixed on this 13th day of October 2020. Chairman Oz Nesbitt, Commissioner Sherry L. Washington, and Commissioner Doreen Williams.
We're gonna superimpose Dr. Williams.
We'll have her.
We're gonna put her, would you airbrush her in?
So happy birthday. I would sing, but yeah. This is, of course, it's always been, I've said it since the day that I was sworn in. It is indeed my great honor to serve as Commissioner of Post 1. Rockdale County is a special place in this state and in this country. I don't think there's anything else like it. And anytime I get the opportunity to extol Rockdale County's virtue, the one thing that I say is that I think that we're a true community. I think that we're family. There are people that, we might fuss and fight, but at the end of the day, we all come and support each other. And our ultimate goal is to make this the best place to live, work, and play. And I think that when we do things and we all remember that goal, we might have different avenues in which we want to get there, but that is the ultimate goal. So like I said, it is my absolute pleasure to stand as Rockdale County Commissioner for Post 1 at our sesquicentennial. Did I say it right? Okay, well, and say happy birthday to Rockdale County. Thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
So, when I think about Rockdale County, I always think about the very first day we drove into Rockdale County. That was 26 years ago. My husband had taken a job in Norcross, and I had spent several days with a realtor looking at places in Gwinnett County, and nothing felt comfortable. And so finally I said to him, I think somebody mentioned something about Rockdale County. And so the realtor brought me to Rockdale County, and I immediately felt at home. John and I came down, we did some looking on our own. We had lunch at the sandwich shop on Commercial Street that very first day. And we just knew this was for us. It was for our kids, it was for us, and that we would be here. And we have been so thrilled with Rockdale County. One daughter had already graduated from high school when we moved here, but the other 4 finished school here and have gone on. I think, I never saw in my sights a political career at all. I was in education and teaching. But that service, the last few years I was teaching, I recognized the deficit in my life that I did not, because I was teaching in Gwinnett, I didn't have a connection to Rockdale that I wanted to have. And so I have really loved serving as the Post 2 Commissioner for 6 years now, because it has given me a chance to come back home, serve my community, my home, and reach out and like Commissioner Washington said, I think there's a lot of unity in this community, and I really, really appreciate that. So happy birthday to Rockdale County on its sesquicentennial.
Very briefly, I want to say it's certainly an honor to serve as Commissioner and Chairman of Rockdale County, to be able to be standing here, and I've said it, and I'm going to keep saying it, the best county in the entire state of Georgia is Rockdale County. You've heard me say it countless numbers of times. There's only 2 kinds of people, those that live in Rockdale and those that wish they lived in Rockdale County. Give Rockdale County another round of applause.
And Mr. Chairman and Madam Commissioner, while we have Commissioner Williams up, if we can bring her back up on the full screen, we'll try to take a picture of the 3 of you all so we don't have to superimpose her. If you can join us here in the middle, and we will try to take a picture of the 3 of y'all, because it is obviously always historic to have you all serve as commissioners, but in particularly during our 150th. And Mr. Chairman, let me get you to move a little bit to the right. There you go. Perfect. Just like that. Perfect, sounds good. Let's give it up for Rockdale County, 150 years. So, Mr. Chairman and Madam Commissioner, as we get through celebrating Rockdale 150, there's a couple things I wanted to share. What is a birthday party without gifts? So we definitely have some gifts we want to share with the folks here, and we've shared with the folks throughout the community. As you can see, there's a table up there with the very, very treasured gold right now of hand sanitizer during COVID. So please help yourself to some hand sanitizer if you haven't already. But aside from that, we also have some coffee mugs and different trinkets to help us memorialize and remember this day. But most importantly, aside from the gifts, one of the things we wanted to share is bringing a throwback. And we brought back the Rockdale County Services Guide. This was actually done pre my time by Julie Mills, who used to lead the Public Relations Department and also serves as Chief of Staff for Rockdale County for a number of years. And this is an all-to guide for everything you need, not only Rockdale County government related, but state, also school board, also City of Conyers, any sort of government serving entity, whether local, state, federal, is here listed in this book to help you reach the services that you need. So I encourage you all to please grab one if you haven't already on your way in. This is a limited edition. We only got 150 printed so far because we wanted to get rid of this first batch. We'll have more coming soon, but please grab this, and we will also put a digital version soon on our website for folks who want to be able to enjoy that. Now, with that being said, we wanted to share just a few videos with you that we had the time to collect over this journey. One of the first ones we wanted to share is our Rockdale 150 YouTube page and how that came to fruition. We were able to gather stories from countless members of the community. I think we actually exceeded our goal by a few maybe 10 or 20, and we still have some coming in. So please continue to send your videos because we want to be able to memorialize this for generations to come. So with that being said, let us show you a little bit how we came together with our Rockdale 150 YouTube page.
Hi, Rockdale. I'm George Diaz, and I'm the county's public relations director, and I'm joined by Satara Koop, who serves as a public relations specialist for the department.
Hello, everyone. We're celebrating 150 years as a county government. That's a big accomplishment, and our community has a lot to be proud of.
That's right, Satara. The rich history and the people that make up Rockdale are one of a kind, and that's why we want to share the celebration with you on YouTube.
Our team has enjoyed learning so much of what Rockdale has to offer and how it came to be. That's why we created the Rockdale 150 YouTube page.
In honor of the anniversary, our team spoke with at least 150 folks who live or are connected to Rockdale. So you can watch them anytime and share with others later on.
There are so many wonderful stories like Miss Sarah Reagan Potts, who is 92 years old and has lived in Rockdale most of her life and made memories she can't forget.
And that's where I was baptized when I was 12 years old in the little rock pool in front of the church. And the ladies would come and lay flowers around the pool, make it look very festive, you know. So we had but it was the coldest water in the world. It came from a spring. And when you got out, you were freezing to death. But I remember all of those times, and I'm thankful that I had those memories.
Rockdale, this is our moment in history, so don't miss out.
Send us a video with your Rockdale history to rockdale150@rockdalecountyga.gov.
Those are the kind of stories we're exactly looking for, not only the historical facts, but what's history to you, family history, the experiences that you'll never forget about Rockdale County. On that YouTube page, you'll find a collection of people all across this community, from elected officials who are currently serving, who have served in the past, to folks who are just walking into the grocery store and were able to share a quick note with us. So please help us continue celebrating this, even though today we are recognizing Rockdale 150. we have tried to celebrate it throughout the year to recognize its importance. And with that being said, we did want to share a more historical video with you regarding Rockdale County that hopefully tries to encompass the 150 years within a short video. So we'll go to the next video.
It's always amazing when any institution of any type is celebrating a sesquicentennial.
With humble beginnings dating back to October 18th, 1870, Rockdale County is rich in history.
It was just after the Civil War, and everyone was trying to figure out, where do we go from here? You had a newly configured nation. You had a defeated Confederacy, and you had emancipated, finally, Black people.
The construction of the railroad was instrumental to the incorporation of Conyers in 1854, which eventually led to the creation of Georgia's 133rd county, covering 128 square miles. It received its name from the Rockdael Baptist Church. During the height of textile manufacturing, Rockdale County was a prosperous place with several mill towns.
Frank D. Milstead and several others had gotten together and started the mill. As time went on, the Callaways from LaGrange and the Callaway Garden people, they came in and they took over and were buying more spools and things. The mill brought a lot of people into that area. I believe it was just by 1915, people started building their houses there.
Judy Bond has fond memories of the Milstead steam locomotive, known as the Dinky. It operated along 3 miles of the Milstead Railroad, from the textile mill to the main line in Conyers.
You could hear the whistle at lunchtime, and when the Dinky left, you could also see the smoke rolling.
The Rockdale County Historical Society purchased the Dinky in 1983. Returning the beloved engine to its final stop in Conyers, where it remains today. The construction of I-20 in the 1960s enabled the county to grow and thrive once the mills stopped production. Wales Flint Barksdale has lived in Rockdale County all of his life.
My kids were actually the fifth generation live on Main Street through my paternal grandmother's side. My kids went to same schools I did. My oldest daughter started school in the same room I did at Pine Street, Old Pine Street. We've had the best of a lot of things. We were a small, contained community, yet we could be in Atlanta anytime we wanted to.
Barksdale also remembers what was then called the Freedom of Choice School Integration Plan.
Freedom of choice started either my freshman year of high school. And that was when the first students came over. It was different, there was some tension, but it worked out. You know, everybody kind of took care of each other. And there was a lot of communication that went on.
I jokingly say it meant that Black kids were free to choose to go to a white school, but not many, if any, white kids made that other trip. In any case, I went to Rockdale High along with a number of other Black kids in the fall of 1968. And that was really the real beginning of the end of the segregated school system then. So I was a part of all of that. And that was when Black people and white people began to have different kinds of relationships, because within the school system, kids were becoming friends. And some of those friendships endured. Indeed, many of my friendships still exist.
Historically, I am the first African-American female county commissioner for Rockdale County. I am my ancestors' greatest dream. I'm their dream come true because I have done all the things that they would want for one of their legacies to achieve.
I think one of the most fascinating things about Rockdale County is that it has over 300 churches. that just creates a whole lot of diversity and and a level of unity of people who are interested in the community, who are interested in their spiritual lives, who portray that in their everyday lives.
One of the most well-known places in Rockdale County is the Monastery of the Holy Spirit that sits on more than 2,000 acres of peace and tranquility.
I remember taking the children down to the monastery and walking the grounds, just this wonderful sense of calm and beauty in the midst of, some hustle and bustle of life.
The War of Heroes Veterans War Memorial Park is located on 3 acres at Black Shoals Lake in Rockdale County. It aims to foster a common understanding of the sacrifices and uncommon dedication of veterans and their families.
When you're there, you don't just pay homage to the veterans of Rockdale County. You see every other person's family there also, and you understand. One of the biggest things that we did was to take down the Confederate monument.
It was done in a way that did not disrespect those for whom the statue means something, but it acknowledged that we are in a different age and that statue is offensive to a big portion of the county. So Rockdale did well with that one.
This is one of the most caring communities anywhere in the country. And when I think about Rockdale County, I think about the 3 R's: being real, being raw, and being relevant. And that's Rockdale. We're real people, we're raw, down to earth, everyday people, and we're relevant.
In 2018, County Commission Chairman Oz Nesbitt wanted Rockdale citizens to feel that sense of pride in a flag that flies proudly today.
We came up with the fact that the stars on the flag represents the pioneers of this community, the people who laid the foundation for Rockdale County. The gold color on the flag represents all of the golden opportunities and wonderful possibilities this community has. And then when you think about the blue is just what I started talking about, the sense of pride and the unity inside of this community. And the burgundy, oh my goodness, the burgundy is all about the rich history and heritage of Rockdale County. We're not perfect, but we're certainly striving to be the best county. And I say it all the time, there's only 2 kind of people: those that live in Rockdale and those that wish they lived in Rockdale County.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Rockdale County. Give it up for Rockdale County, 150 years. And Commissioner, don't worry, because we do realize that what would be a birthday without some singing. So Derek, will you please lead us in a very traditional and spirited happy birthday to celebrate Rockdale County 150th. Thank you, Derek.
Good morning, everybody. This is a celebration. Come on, put your hands together for our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. You know, I was thinking about it, and I was saying to myself, what better way to start out this celebration or to finish this celebration with giving grace and honor to our Lord and Savior. So I want to start by saying, because it is our 150th celebration, we want to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Yes, come on.
Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Listen, for 150 years, you've been so good this morning. You've been so good to Rockdael County, and we just want to thank you, Lord. And if y'all know this song, help me sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rockdael. Happy birthday to you. It doesn't make much sense. Put your hands together. For there to be a law against anyone who take offense on the day of your celebration. We all know in our minds that there ought to come a time that we can set aside Rockdael to show how much we love. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Rockdael. Happy birthday, Rockdael. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Come on. Happy birthday, Rockdael. Come on. Happy birthday, Rockdael. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Rockdael. Happy birthday, Rockdael. Happy birthday. It doesn't make much sense. I want y'all to hear me. There ought to be a law against anyone who take offense at a day in our celebration. There ought to be a time, yes, that we all put in our mind, and we'll set aside Rockdael just to show how much we love you. Happy birthday, Rockdael County.
Happy birthday, Rockdael County. Thank you so much, Derek, for joining us. We want to thank Miss Monica Kaufman-Pearson, who helped us with the voiceover for our historical video. And lastly, Mr. Chairman and Madam Commissioners, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the party planners for this, which really takes they say it takes a village to raise a child. I think it also takes a village to put on a 150th birthday party, because we've definitely put together a village. First, I'd really like to thank Director Rutledge and her crew for helping us and leading us through this way. This year has been a unique year with a lot of changes, and we were able to transition quickly and help continue celebrating the 150th. So thanks also to Shavonda and all the folks down there, because a lot of the trinkets that you're seeing here would not have been possible without their help. And also really, really want to thank all of our staff, Sean Kimball, Michael Yates in particular. They have been going like at 150 miles per hour the last month and a half, trying to get the YouTube and coordinating with folks. And particularly also want to thank Felicia Glover, as if you were walking in, you probably saw the cupcakes. So a birthday party would not be remiss without some cake. So if you still would like some cupcakes, we have some for you up front. And thank you so much for letting us be a part of this historic moment in celebrating Rockdael's 150th birthday. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's a tough act to follow.
I know.
We certainly all have our own moments and thoughts and moments of emotions when we think about being a part of such a wonderful county. Commissioner Washington, Commissioner Williams, we certainly do appreciate having this honor and the opportunity to serve the great people of Rockdale County. Thank you to Director Diaz, Director Rutledge, and the entire team who played a part in making this celebration a reality. Yes. As many of you know, that had it not been for COVID, we'd be celebrating in many different kind of ways. We had several different things planned, but we believe that everything happens for a reason. So we certainly do appreciate, and I want to just encourage folks who are live in this audience, as well as those who are watching this broadcast, make sure you visit the YouTube channel that highlights all of the people, the places, and the faces of Rockdale County, and listen to the many different stories. I think it'll be quite interesting as you get a chance to hear from so many people all across this great county who make Rockdale County the special place that it is. Commissioners, it's now time to take care of the people's business, and I'm going to ask that we will move forward. At this time, we will move with item number 4, the approval of the agenda. What is your pleasure?
We're not doing D.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, we have 2 more presentations this morning. We have Mr. Ron Fairley and Representative-elect Rhonda Taylor.
Oh, thank you so much. I stand corrected. Thank you, Director Rutledge and Commissioner Washington. We'll have Mr. Ron Farley from the Restoration Storehouse this morning to give us an update on what's happening with the Restoration Storehouse project.
Amen. Thank you for having me. First, I want to just introduce my board chair for some opening remarks, and then I'll have my annual.
First of all, Mr. Chairman, Lady Commissioners, Directors, and staff, let me commend the piano player before he leaves. Anytime, brother, you're looking for a place to come and have a big time, come to New Covenant Fellowship.
You're going to steal him.
The piano ought to glow after that moment.
That's Mr. Derek Monk. Let's give him another round of applause.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Directors, and staff, it is an ongoing privilege to play a small part as board chair in the implementation of the Restoration Storehouse vision. To persevere along with our exceptional Executive Director, Ron Fairley, and also our exceptional Operations Director, Robert Hughes. Robert, will you please stand? Our hope and vision is to alleviate any hindrances that deter any and all individuals from living their best life possible. Our inclusive collaborative strategy has and is and will continue to change lives and strengthen the Conyers and Rockdale County communities. And it is through God's providential care and sovereignty that I thank the commissioners for your courage to trust us and empower us to understand what we can do, because Restoration Storehouse is perfectly positioned on Parker Road in the heart of this county to touch hundreds of lives. And we're very thankful for your trust in us. It is a high honor to commend to you our executive director. The most difficult part of any vision is taking it from the dream to the reality. Mm-hmm. That time in between dreaming a vision into reality is very difficult. And of course, the COVID pandemic has not helped us. Mm-hmm. But God in his sovereign providential care is persevering with us. And as board chair, I just want to say to each of you, I deeply appreciate your patience. I deeply appreciate your trust. And I'm looking forward to the day when we can cut the ribbon and open the doors of Restoration Storehouse at 1400 Parker Road. And I thank you so much for your kindness toward us and your trust in us. Brother Ron.
Good morning, Commissioners. I
Good morning.
Appreciate this opportunity at any time. this particular moment of presentation is an annual requirement. So I rejoice even in the requirement because it is something that I would pleasure in doing anyway. One of the things that is required of us this morning is to give a report of where we are, where we've been briefly, and then make myself available at any time as usual to answer any questions and even provide any documentation to back up anything that I present this morning. And I'm at any time available to do that to the board or your representatives as designated. I also like to just thank my board chair, who you just heard from, and Dr. Robert Hughes, who's the operations director, who's been working diligently with the clients here. And one thing that may not be too clear to a lot of folks if you don't get the phone calls is we get daily calls for people who are looking for housing. We had a call from a lady who just had a baby. They were calling on her behalf because they didn't have anywhere to outpatient her to send her. So we are looking for individuals who are, ran out of money and those type of things. So just to be reminded in this time of COVID that we have our normal issues and then we have our compounded normal issues because COVID makes it difficult for those places that normally accept them to accept them at all, or they reduce the amount. So just being mindful of our community. So with no further ado, I'd like to proceed. Chief. Yeah. Early voting is starting. We have as I mentioned last time, we had this beautiful roof. And I will continue to talk about that beautiful roof because anytime you write a check for $600,000, you should remember it. So I was on that beautiful roof. And these are the lines that were going around the building for early voting. I mentioned that because then I work with the Board of Elections. We have designated over 14,000 square feet of space, not only for the early voting process, but also to allow folks to get in out of the inclement weather if it is to come. That is something that we would do anyway, but we would especially like to do it in this time as part of our community engagement of what's taking place. Being mindful, the Board of Elections is not giving Restoration Storehouse any money, any compensation of any type. This is just an arrangement that they had a need. We stepped up and helped fulfill that need. It was originally just for the voting area. We've seen inclement weather. We started a conversation about what was possible to help in case it started raining to keep people from leaving. So we added about 6,000 square feet. Then the line got so long and we added another 4,000 square feet so people can sit inside. So that is where we are right now. So the amount of space you see there is not only the voting area, but it is also places for about 150 chairs in the back warehouse area so that people would not have to stand as long as they wait to go vote.
We certainly appreciate that. On that, I want to give you a round of applause like right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So moving forward, Restoration Storehouse, as our board chair explained, that we are here to help and deliver economic impact while serving the residents of Rockdale County who are at 200% poverty and below. Though that might sound like a lot, 200% poverty is for a family of four is approximately $50,000. Once you take out rent, once you take out car payment, once you take out the potential for a student loan, you pretty much are at an individual poverty wage trying to make it happen. So our goal is to empower and equip individuals rather than to exclude them out of our individual partnership process. We use the collective impact model. I'm going to move forward to the next one for the sake of time. A backbone organization in this organization, we're Restoration Storehouse. We have a common agenda of poverty alleviation. We have a shared measurement of having an economic impact in the areas where we're choosing to make a difference, which is measured by outcomes to families served, and also how much we can move them through a continuum of care to go from instability to stability and then on to sustainability. So that is the continuum of care that we're looking to provide through the use of our partners, and you'll see more of them in a minute. We want to coordinate efforts to maximize results. How many GED classes are needed? Well, however many are needed. But we don't want to have eight GED classes all on Tuesday night. So maybe we can spread those out and do a better job of accommodating individuals. So we're not trying to reduce services. We're trying to just use the services we have more efficiently to meet the needs of those around. So if we have a gap, we can potentially work together to get that done. Open and continuous communications, this is one example of that, and also calling me up as I'm available to have these dialogues and build relationships and trust building. And in doing so, we can have a concerted impact. So Restoration Storehouse is not about what I can do as the board chair, what Robert can do as the director of operations, or what our board can do. It is about what our partners can do in the community of Rockdale to impact the residents of Rockdale County. So in, it doesn't help. So our service categories, real briefly, just life and employment services. We want to do intervention, which is some of the things that we're doing now. Where people are isolated as they can be. Viewpoint Mental Health has started their telehealth initiative to deal with individuals who are being isolated. You have individuals who cannot get to their AA meetings and NA meetings, and that's taking place via Zoom. One of the greatest threats to having a setback in your recovery is being isolated and alone and no one checking on you. So one of the great things with the mental health and also substance abuse is the telehealth is allowing people to connect and get back connected. So food and housing, we're gonna elaborate on some of these things. But most thing that we want to get to, which is that ribbon cutting moment that the chair spoke of, was providing a place of opportunities for volunteers to serve while demonstrating or living out their Christian community together. If you ask anybody, the majority of individuals here, we have a very large faith community in Rockdale County. Given an opportunity for that expression to take place is one of the things that we want to do by leveraging the collaboration of those individual resources that are brought to the table by our partners. The partner update is going to be impacted by COVID-19. COVID brought a lot of things to a halt. Human services or social services really requires a lot of people contact to get that stuff done. So how to do that in a safe environment with COVID and the uncertainty that started at the beginning of the epidemic. These are our partners. We have 15 partners: Viewpoint Health, Partnership for Community Action, One Heart Ministries, Rockdael Emergency Relief, Second Chance Pursuit, Refuge Center, WorkSource, which is Atlanta Regional Commission, Serenity House, Prevent Child Abuse Rockdale, Phoenix Pass, Empowered Families, Head Start, Rockdale Coalition for Children and Family, and Mercy Heart, and New Covenant Fellowship. And I think I said Second Chance Pursuit. So we are, or these partners are, Restoration Storehouse. Robert and I get the great privilege of helping coordinate and navigate together to provide services. Many of the examples I started with the young lady who we were called about, we try to align them with the partners who provide direct services. And in some cases, that's aligning those individuals with multiple partners. Because generally, if you have a housing problem, you also have a transportation problem, and you also have a food problem, and you also have a medical problem. So none of these problems or situations that occur in people's lives are isolated. They generally only ask you about the most prevalent problem, right? But they generally have issues in all of these particular areas. So these partners and also community partners go a long way toward making that happen. An example of that is also with the Stepping Up initiative, which Commissioner Williams is working on. There was a Facebook about the young lady who was out there. So that is also part of connecting to those mental health needs. They're not part of our partnership, but they're very much a community resource that meets the needs of the people in the community that we want to be aware of and partner with moving forward. These are the basic needs and details. The slide deck will be made available to the county. It is not a new slide. It is a slide you've seen before in previous settings. What is the partner update? Mercy Heart Viewpoint, as I mentioned earlier, has adopted telehealth. That's something that's been so successful. If the legislation sticks, they would like for it to continue to go forward because it is very successful for those who are hindered by transportation.
Right.
Everybody can't get to their doctor's appointment because there is not a car, there's not public transportation, there's not a way to do it. If one of the family members has the car because they went to work, that means the other family member is at house and can't make those direct appointments. So being able to have telehealth available to both of them is something that's critically important. And you'll be amazed how much of the mental health and the medical health arena is based on how you look. You can say everything is fine, but if you're not presenting yourself physically as being okay, that is something that the doctors can pick up on in that telehealth and that visual presentation. So there is a dynamic of that, which is better than a phone, which is needful for those two individual organizations. Viewpoint Health and PCAR specifically has been impacted by the statewide budget cuts. Those aren't secrets. So nothing here is of a private nature. Those are just individual impacts that they're experiencing because once COVID hit, there was some redirecting of funds. And there was also some drawing back of funds. So they had to figure out how they were going to continue to move on. So there are statewide budget cuts that are making an impact on our partner organizations. But there's also been some great stories of how things have moved on. PCA, Partnership Community Action, has changed how they do business. They went to more of an appointment-based process. One Heart has picked up the amount of food distribution they've done. Rockdael Emergency Relief has really picked up a lot of the food that they've done. But even in the area of food service, a lot of that food is being given away at this particular point as part of some government programs that are happening that are allowing those surplus food that weren't able to get into the other supply chain to be directed toward those who are unemployed at this particular time. Those are starting to dry up, and some of those things are starting to stop. So you're going to start seeing over time those amount of food distributions to start slowing down, and you're not going to see as much and as many as you have, unless there's something done seriously on the legislative front to reignite and continue. So, but they've also teamed together. They realize that some have the food and some have the people, right? So that's what's happening with One Heart and Rockdael Coalition and dealing with the senior food delivery. Also in collaboration with many of Rockdael County, who picked up Meals on Wheels through your staff. So there's a lot of collaborative things taking place. So what you see on this slide is not Rockdael County. This is just a slice of the effort that's taking place in Rockdael County. And I would say a very small slice of the effort that's taking place, and we're just privileged to do it. And this will pick up very quickly here after this slide. Here's some examples of partners providing services in the first half of this year. One Heart Food Ministries, they served 5,227 people just in the first quarter. Then COVID hit. Their numbers tripled. So halfway through, even before they got to June, they were halfway through that number. They had exceeded that number. So by the time it's not reflected here, they served twice as many for that same period of time as they did with pre-COVID. Rockdael Emergency Relief partnered with the school district. Of course, they shut down to deliver meals during the break period that was there. Refuge Center had 640 service visits for young ladies and individuals who are pregnant. Phoenix Pass, they still have people coming in and out of their program. And it's an interesting note is that when you end up dealing with the individuals who need service, some of the things that they need service in were being negatively impacted by them receiving the additional $600 because that put their monthly over $2,400 additional higher than individuals who were unemployed or working at McDonald's, right? So now you're looking at a service delivery model where you have a single lady with children who is getting the assistance and a single lady with children who's working, and the one who's working is getting less money than the other. Now, I am of the mind that people needed the money, don't get me wrong, but in the service delivery models, the criteria ranks them different because of how much money they're giving, not because of COVID-19 or their needs. So that is just something that we're mindful of, and how do we bring together a support structure for those who may be getting penalized in the midst of a COVID situation for receiving money that's being made available through a government allocation meant to do well, but it may have a negative impact.
Is it a blessing or a curse?
That's right. That's the question we have to deal with as we work with those individuals and how to make that happen. So Prevent Child Abuse Rockdael, they're still trying to see families and deal with the issues. Prevent Child Abuse Rockdael is not explicit here, but these type of activities are the ones that allow women to get back their children through a DFAC situation or to reconstitute families. So their work, even though they're taking cuts, is very relevant to family composition and bringing those families back together. So it looks very clinical on this page, but these are people, these are family reunification, these are housing homeless individuals who might get put out, being put back in. So they're represented as numbers, but this is representative of families in Rockdael County being serviced in a way that allows their family to stay, to allow them to continue to have dignity in place, and to be able to move from instability to stability in the things that they're doing. Rockdael Coalition, as mentioned earlier, I work with Extra Mile Food Pantry for 300 seniors in dealing with suppressor allocation of funding that they received also. Here's the potential and actual partner risk because of COVID-19. Their fundraising and donor. I mean, most nonprofits get together and have cookouts and fundraisers and meet at Rockdael Career Academy and let those children, the students there cook. Well, that's not taking place. Postponement of fundraisers. Why? Because those are generally meeting at churches and costly meals and various other places. Well, they're not taking place. Because of the reduction in funding, well, there needs to be a direct correlation between how much I have and how much can I spend. So that's means some staff reductions are taking place in those nonprofits. So the need is being increased by COVID-19, but the allocation of funding and availability to meet those needs are being decreased. A lot of grand foundations and large foundations have shifted their money. Unfortunately, a lot of them go for the event of the moment. So we've actually had conversations or know of other conversations with some of our partners who are being asked by those grant givers, when do you want the money? When do you need the money? And you're like, well, I need the money when you sent it, when you said you were going to give it to me in August. They're like, well, are you going to spend it in August? Why? They want to float it somewhere else and give it to you later. So we're having some active conversations about funding among our partners and how they receive their cash. Reopening dates, most of them have gotten to some type of new normal. Why? Online registration, call ahead appointments. So as much as possible, they've gotten back to a new normal. And for some of them are realizing that this new normal is better service delivery than the old normal because they're getting better throughput, more time with clients, less waiting in the waiting room. So in some ways, it's going to be a good thing. Our partners bring their own people and budget to this partnership. We're Collective Impact, Restoration Storehouse as a whole. We don't fund them. They bring their partnerships, their people and their budgets. Our goal is to coordinate together toward a service delivery model. And in doing so, we have a common case management process, a core operating or an intake system. We provide as Restoration Storehouse the facilities, operations coordination, the common goal, common measures, any new resources that are needed, and we'll bring the investment capital. All of the money that's needed to build the building out will come from Restoration Storehouse as much as within us to make that happen. Why does that matter? Here's the building update as a whole. That's my beautiful room.
There it is.
And not to hover there too much on this time. We had to put in a new sewer system to support that beautiful roof because there's a lot of drainage that takes place, but there's also a lot of toilets that flush. There's 15 toilets in Head Start alone, and we're adding a lot more. So we had to add some sewage. So what you see there are new sewage lines that went in or are in the ground as we speak in support of Head Start. They have a partnership that took place that we were able to connect to Conyers Civic League. With some funding that they had available, and they got a beautiful mural that's going on one of their entrance walls inside of their space, so connecting Conyers to Head Start. And here's the final view of what that picture is going to look like, or that wall mural once it's finished on that.
Nice.
Conyers Civic League. Here's an interesting note. Originally, Head Start was part of the DeKalb Rockdael Head Start.
Right.
They went out for bid because the previous grantee lost their grant, so it went out to Office of One Head Start in DC, and it was DeKalb, Rockdael County. Well, 2 grantees came forward and took DeKalb County. That was the Easter Seals and YMCA of Greater Atlanta. That left Rockdael alone. So Rockdael is now a grantee location, all of its own. And looking for a grantee. So they've been separated from DeKalb. There's 2 parts that are good about that.
Yeah.
One is they're not worried about being second to DeKalb. 2 is they get to establish their own administrative authority that is separate from another county's responsibilities, right? So whoever's in charge of just Rockdael does not have to worry about this large geographic of DeKalb Rockdael. They just get to deal with Rockdael. Now, as far as the partnership is concerned, there's some positives there, right? And they've asked of us for another 1,200 square feet so they can establish that administrative presence just to manage Rockdael County's Head Start needs. So if you go out front over at 1400, especially in the entrance, you'll see some signs out front for Head Start Rockdael, and they're open for registration. I want to put that plug out. They follow the school district of the county they're in, so they're not going to open up until January. Most likely when our school district starts going in.
And Mr. Chairman,
Go for it.
I'll say this, but this is the premier location.
Absolutely.
This will be the premier showcase location in the Atlanta area, thanks to the work that Ron has done to attract them to our county.
Done
Very good.
Moving along. Construction in the rest of the building is proceeding. Those are those great sewage. It's just something about spending all that money and then having to cover it up, but it's needed. It's a mandatory thing. So I want to. This is the phase one that we're moving forward with next. So the big gray area is part of Head Start. This is only half of our building map. The big gray area is where we're building next. So if you went over there right now, we've allocated and started building on there. So you're going to start seeing a lot of activity. That is going to be where WorkSource is in the lower left-hand corner, and then right next to it, toward the middle yellow, is going to be Mercy Heart. So you're going to have job training in Mercy Heart, and the area in the back is going to be open for meetings, and several other partners are going to move in there around housing who need some immediate space. So that is a process that is taking place. They're going to move in January. Now, once we get early voting out after November 3rd, and if there's a runoff, we'll have to address that. We're going to be moving individuals down at the other end to consume that space pending construction of their final space. What we want to be able to do is get these folks in the building and alleviate some of their rent needs in their existing space, so therefore they can help alleviate their budget hurts right now, and also allow them to continue to do service, because they do great service, but their funding sources are being constricted by no fault of their own. It is not a qualitative issue, it is an environmental issue.
Gotcha.
So phase one is 17,900 square feet. That includes the mezzanine area that's not being shown here. The building, this construction is very empty. Here are some capital investment lease metrics. These are important because they're in our lease. They're a requirement of some things that we need to get done. So one of the things that we have to do is that we're in year one of that, and for the purpose of I have this to give. It is my receipt for $200,000 worth of roof that show accomplishment of lease metric year one. And we can talk later about how to receive that in an appropriate manner. But I want to let you know that I am prepared to meet the obligations that have been outlined to me.
Brian, I got a feeling you've got a framed copy of that at your office.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's like the first
Pictures of the sewer and yes.
I'm just filling up a wall every time I get.
He'll have pictures of the sewer up there on his office.
Most have their diplomas. He's gonna have pictures of
Right,
the sewer,
exactly.
so.
We got the roof and then everything around it, right?
A little too excited. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
I don't think I've ever met a man that got so excited about a roof the way you. So I'm sure you have pictures of yourself up on the roof.
On the roof, that's right.
Oh,
Selfies
wow.
with the roof.
Somebody made a song. I can't remember who it was.
Yes, that will be.
So, and I'm going to be more excited as we move inside, making those choices and making those selections, because that's where we dried the place out, got the mold out, got the asbestos out, got the excess material that was rusting in place out from the manufacturing process. But now we're in a place to serve people. So that's the exciting place here. These are some economic metrics. They're relevant to be known, but they're not relevant to be achieved until year 3. And we just started into year 2. So these are future metrics that are going to have to be given for our economic performance. It is just not us being in the building. We actually have to be in the building and produce on behalf of Rockdale County. So these are just shown for that purpose. There's no action required at this particular point as part of our agreement, but I wanted to just show them in this place. We've raised over $4 million. That's not including any money that Head Start brought on their own, and they brought $2 million of their own. So if you want to look at the total investment currently right now in that building, we're over $3 million. And with this first phase that I just spoke of, that's going to be $1.5 million more into that building. And then we're going to start moving up the front of the building toward our completion of moving in. So we're going to do all this, and you say, well, how are we going to use together? And I think this is important to the partnership, and I'm going to close on this point. Everyone who's part of the partnership has to use a common intake. That means that we're all going to be working off the same sheet of music. When someone comes in and they say, I need a dental work, well, everyone's going to be able to know when they come in, they need dental work, but we're also going to let them know that all the other partners, because of your income situation, can provide these other services, be it Head Start. Did you know you qualify for Head Start? Well, in this particular time, most of us who have lost our job at some particular point don't know what's available to us at the point that we lose our job. All of a sudden, food stamps are available to us. All of a sudden, Head Start is available for our children. So we're not aware of those things until we find ourselves in need. And then even then, there's no one to tell us. So we want to be able to let folks know what services are available to them so that they won't have to sit there and struggle and try to find them on their own. And we can do that through our common intake system. We're going to be able to report on the programs across our partners, the family progress from instability to stability, and also be able to talk about how many services are consumed. This goes into us meeting our economic metrics. So these reports are available. With all that to say, I enjoyed it as I always do. Sometimes I may not go as far on this because I remember other conversations that we've had leading up to this. So if there's any questions that you have for me, or if there's any partner out there or partner organization listening to this who want to be part of us, you can go on our website, restorationstorehouse.org, and we're ready to have that conversation. So the partners that I've shown are not all the partners that there are. We are available and ready to have continued dialogue on behalf of the residents of Rockdale County. We're here to serve them, and by extension, we want to make ourselves available to do so.
Ron, I want to yield to Commissioner Washington and then to Commissioner Williams for questions.
Well, I don't have any questions at all because you did a very thorough job of explaining and telling us the what has been going on in Restoration Storehouse. I appreciate the fact that you brought out all of the things that you all have done just for the building, the roof, the sewer, the asbestos, the mold, all of those things that were in the building that had to be eradicated before we could even consciously bring people in for service. That being said, I'm tremendously proud of the fact that we do have a flagship Head Start program. I know Kata Omega, a chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha, they worked very, I was delivering supplies so that they could have that initiative helping the children with the program at Restoration Storehouse. So I'm extremely proud of that partnership also, even though that, well, I'm not saying, but I'm so excited about this being in Rockdale County. I know this is going to be an amazing venture, and I can't wait to see the next level.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes. I just want to say too that I am also excited about the Head Start program. I think, you know, education starts young. Children are at their prime for learning when they're preschool age. And having that opportunity for parents to send their children to a remarkable child-centered enrichment program is really key to future educational successes. I also want to say that we appreciate having the Stepping Up initiative working very closely with Restoration Storehouse, because as you can see, when we're talking about people in need, and Ron brought this up so clearly, that, you know, that people often only talk about one or maybe two things that are really troubling them at the time, but there's often a whole array of things. And they will be a great resource, and they already have been a great resource for us as we are putting together all of our services and opportunities with Stepping Up. In fact, last week and Ron referred to this situation with the homeless woman, you know, we called Viewpoint Health, we called people from Restoration Storehouse to get contacts and information and resources. And the more we can all partner together, whether we're in that building or in a different building, the more that all of our nonprofit and faith-based resources in the community can work together, we can really strengthen and provide a strong foundation for our community and for those who are most vulnerable and who happen to be in need at the time. So thank you.
Ron, thank you to you and your entire team and staff for what you're doing over on Parker Road. The tremendous work that you all have done in terms of the infrastructure, as Commissioner Washington has pointed out, concerning the building, but more importantly, as you are prepared to get ready to cater to the needs of so many people We don't have an end time in terms of a timeline with COVID-19. But I just want to remind folks that people were in need before COVID, and they're more in need now of COVID. As I not just pay attention as to what's happening here on the local and the state level, but as the chairman of the county, it's part of my responsibility to keep an eye out what's happening on the national and the global scene as well. All of the experts right now, economists are predicting that we are in for a tough few months ahead, not just from the medical side as it relates to COVID, but also from a financial side. And there are many people who are standing by waiting to see if there's going to be another stimulus check or some type of relief. And also those small business people and entrepreneurs who rely very heavily on the PPP and the stimulus from the federal government to move them and to carry them on into 2021. We're just fortunate here in Rockdale County to have Restoration Storehouse. Again, unless you are a person who has been in a need situation or have had a loved one or family member to be in a critical need situation, you may not understand the need. And I do appreciate something you said a little while ago, Ron, is that when people are in need, they need it right at that moment. They can't wait till Friday. Their Friday is right now. Their need is right now. And having an organization and having the leadership of real people running the organization that can connect with the need. You referenced the Facebook thing that went pretty viral, at least in our community, with the efforts of Commissioner Williams and some of the other folks who was able to get this young lady who was homeless and hungry. And it didn't just stop with the fact of she being homeless and hungry and having other needs. Restoration Storehouse is dealing with all of those things. So we can't say enough. And again, we certainly do appreciate the partnership during this early voting season of what you all are doing over there to assist with early voting and to make sure that folks are being accommodated during this very sensitive time that we've been experiencing. Keep up the good work. I believe I speak for this whole board when I tell you that you have our full support to continue to move forward here in Rockdale County. We are sitting on the edge of our seats for you to open up and move up to the front and get the place wide open and see more miracles and blessings that come forth from Restoration Storehouse. Thank you so much. Let's give the folks at Restoration Storehouse a round of applause. Certainly a partnership, Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Washington, that we are so glad to be a part of. We are honored this morning to have in our presence the Honorable Representative-elect, Ms. Rhonda Taylor, who is coming forth this morning to give us a legislative update. She's going to talk to us about where things are and what can we expect from her going forward as the state legislator. Ms. Taylor, let me just go ahead and tell you, anytime you come into 903 or 901 or 962 or any of the county buildings, you got to always be ready. You can't come in here getting ready. You got to always be ready. You working for the people, you got to be ready. Come on up here. Give her a round of applause as she's coming. She's ready. She's never lost for words. We had a wonderful time to meet with Director Rutledge and our newly elected representative. She's my friend, Ms. Taylor. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman and board members. Thank you for inviting me to speak about my State House District 91 win. And good morning, Rockdale residents. I am so elated to have had this county to overwhelmingly support my candidacy this past June. And I say thank you for this opportunity to not only serve, but to work diligently to positively impact the way in which we strive and thrive. I understand the mission that we collectively desire to achieve. So I look forward to connecting and building bridges to the viable resources from the State House, bringing them back to our communities. For many years, I've served in our county, and that's because I do truly love Rockdael. And it is an extra special treat for me to be here with you guys celebrating on the 150th anniversary. It was in the late 1980s that I worked here in Rockdael as an executive director and sometimes as an instructor for a technical school, then living in DeKalb County. And then in the early 2000s, after making a major career change, I opened a law office here for the firm. And while marketing the new business, I learned my way around the county, mostly by getting lost a few times. After obtaining that law degree, that pre-law degree, I decided to buy a home again, but I didn't initially consider Rockdael. Yet, in the midst of my frustration, my agent/mom ran across my current residence, and I could not believe the blessing. I immediately purchased a home and became active in the community through various organizations. I was already working on a state-level political campaign at the time, so when speaking in Rockdael on behalf of the candidate, I was doing so in my own community. I got to know most of the leaders, the movers and the shakers, and a lot of the residents. I began attending events and participating in community service initiatives. From there, I've simply shown up and worked for the people. It is easy to feel belonged here in Rockdael because the county represents a diversity of folk, living, sharing, and leaning on one another. Residents who care about their schools, property values, the aesthetics of their neighborhoods, partaking of the many family amenities, all ignited in me that love for Rockdael. Then there was room to grow, and I wanted to be a part of that growth. 11 years later, I've opened a small business here. I've served in so many capacities and worked with some fascinating individuals. But my proudest moment was the founding of the Rockdael Newton section of the National Council of Negro Women, NCNW, an organization of organizations with the mission to lead, advocate for, and empower women of African descent, their families, and communities. The organization thrives today and is well recognized here in the county. I also currently oversee 26 churches, one of which is in Rockdael, of the Atlanta East 6th Episcopal District of the African Methodist Episcopal Church as president of their social action and social justice ministries. In this capacity, and over the past 4 years under my leadership, we have held ongoing voter registration drives, annual legislative updates, candidate meet and greets, pantry deliveries of groceries, various conversations on social matters such as teen trafficking, estate planning, and elderly care support. I've served on boards, including the planning committee for Rockdael Works, a program that trained unemployed and underemployed residents for local manufacturing jobs right here. And I've worked for our magistrate court as well. I've served as a county committee chair for the county's 2020 Census Turnout Initiative. I remain an active member of NAACP. I serve as the vice president of the Rockdael County League of Women Voters and a former member of the state board of directors for the League of Women Voters Georgia, representing a civic organization formed after the passing of the 19th Amendment, which won women the right to vote, which to help women take a larger role in public affairs. This year, we celebrate 100 years of women's suffrage. And as the NCNW founder, Mary McLeod would say, and I quote, "Next to God, we're indebted to women, first for life itself, and then for making it worth living." We are, with all of our diversity intact, stepping up and running for office in record-shattering numbers. Running for office, the natural next step for me to help make the many adjustments in our communities. 538 women nationwide in just this 2020 election. The surge should be a wake-up call that all is about to be well. Those who know me know that I'm a straight shooter, hardworking, results-oriented, dedicated worker. One would say that I'm purposeful in my endeavors. I am one for what is right and fair and would indeed question wrong and anything suspect. Today, I stand before you as your next state representative with 3 passionate objectives. 1, discovering, testing, and implementing viable opportunities through all available resources to increase our live, work, and play and within this district. 2, creating a tool that immediately interconnects short and long-term social services for our constituents, including educational, societal, financial resources, supporting livable wages, affordable health care, excellent schools, as well as opportunities that work for working people. And it was awesome to see that presentation from the Restoration Storehouse because that envelops that whole concept of overall community welfare. And number 3, seeking solutions to reduce crime and increase safety in our communities, bringing needed resources and funding to obtain and retain top-notch law enforcement. My goal is to always be accessible, to listen and to create a pipeline directly from the state capitol to right here in Rockdale, to be that representative that shows up, to always remain aware of the constituents and how the measures I vote on will impact those lives. I aim to make Rockdale proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let me just say, while you're still standing there, Representative, we are certainly excited about the work ahead that you will be doing in representing Rockdale County, and the fact that not only will you be representing Rockdale, but you are a resident of Rockdale County. So that's a big plus for us, and we will certainly be expecting you to bring home the bacon. Let's give her another round of applause.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, Director Rutledge, I think we're in order now. We're down to item number 4.
Right.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure? I know it doesn't seem like item number 4, but it is actually item number 4 on the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as published.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. Item number 5, please.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. There's no unfinished business at this time. Director Rutledge, we're moving on to our regular agenda. We will start with item 2020-417.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is with Truancy Intervention Project Georgia through the Juvenile Court. It's Truancy Intervention Project Grant, the amount of $5,000.
I move to approve the grant as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 418, please.
This is with Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, the CJCC. The State Court DUI Court is for DUI Court Supervised Treatment Program Grant. This is for a part-time case manager. But the grant is in the amount of $30,607. The term is October 1st, 2020 through September the 30th of 2021.
I have a question about this one and the following one because they seem to be the same. There is a match, and I noticed it says part-time, but with the match, it's $40,000. I'm wondering if that's part-time with benefits, or do we know how that's working out?
So I could get with Judge Bills and get you that answer. I don't think anybody from the state court is here this morning, Commissioner.
Okay.
Commissioner Williams, what's your pleasure on any, you want to take a different position until we can get back with that information? I think that was a very valid question, pending all of what we have leaning toward our budget.
Would you like?
Well, since this is a grant, I'm okay with approving it today. I just was curious about
if it includes the benefit.
30,000 seemed a lot to me for a part-time job. I'm wondering how many hours and that kind of thing. I just want more information about it, but I'm certainly willing to approve it.
Okay, we'll do that.
I move to approve this grant as presented.
And I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any additional questions concerning this one? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. 419, please.
So this one is also similar. It's with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. This is for the Superior Court and the Drug Court. It's a grant and part-time case manager. This grant is in the amount of $30,607, and the term is October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021.
And I move to approve this grant as presented.
I second that
Been
motion.
properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? Let me just take a moment while we're talking about grants and how some of this works. I think it's important that the BOC, as we are paying attention to the grants coming in, because what happens when the grants expire, then that's when the board has to take up the responsibility, or the clear communication has to move forward to those individuals who are working or operating off of those grants to know that the grant has ended. And we can't just automatically shift those personnel or those individuals onto the county payroll because we don't have any funds to cover that. And I think monitoring, we've had this conversation already internally with our finance department as well as our human resources department, because I think it's very out of respect. I think it's important that we let individuals who've been hired to work a grant before it gets to the end to make sure they are aware that in 6 months or whatever time that the grant will expire and the county will not be picking up the tab after the expiration of the grant. That way we don't pick up costs unnecessarily on the board without being able to get some type of extension or them being able to be awarded an additional grant to cover moving forward. Just wanted to point that out because I think those housekeeping things have to be made clear of the communication, because in the past, there have been times where grants have ended, folks were out without a job or without work, and they knocked on the door of finance or HR thinking that we were just going to automatically pick it up, and it just doesn't work that way.
Right.
All right, 419 has been properly motioned and second. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 420, please.
This is for the Center for Tech and Civic Life through the Board of Elections and Voter Registration Office. This is an election expenses grant in the amount of $276,681.25. And the grant period is from June 15th, 2020 through December 31st, 2020.
I move to approve this grant as presented.
And I second that motion. I don't know if you can answer these questions either. This was an interesting grant because it offers hazard pay for some of the poll workers. It also provided funds, if so deemed, for additional ballot boxes. And so my question is, are there ballot boxes in other places besides the Board of Elections office on Commercial Drive?
I can
go ahead.
I just got finished speaking with Ms. Welch this week about that, and she has assured me that additional ballot boxes will be placed at the fire stations. Some of the fire stations, she's supposed to be getting me the addresses of the fire stations that the additional ballot boxes will be placed at, and I'm super excited. Super excited about this opportunity. But did I answer the question?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Correct.
I would like to say that I don't think it was until I was elected that I realized how much it cost for an election. And for us to receive a grant for $276,681.25, that's not even the entire amount that it costs for us to host an election, but that sure does help a lot with deferring a lot of those expenses. So I'm excited to see this grant and have it funded.
Absolutely.
And especially to see something that compensates the poll workers for the exposure that they are receiving, working the polls with the lines, as long as they are, with that amount of exposure to COVID, to see that they are being compensated as a hazard pay is also exciting.
Absolutely. This has been properly motioned and second. Are there any additional questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Let me just say on that note real quick, one of the reasons there's been an additional long wait at the polls is simply because of COVID. The poll workers are having to disinfect and clean each and every station behind each and every voter. So to comply with CDC guidelines and make sure that we minimize the risk and the exposure, it takes a moment. So when you go vote early, pack some patience, okay? Be patient because they want to make sure they're keeping the place nice and clean and sanitized and healthy for each person. So they're not just taking time just to be taking time. There's a lot of people out there voting, but there's also some disinfecting going on too to make sure that we have a safe, clean, and healthy environment. Just wanted to point that out. Oftentimes people forget that we're in the middle of COVID-19 and we do have a pandemic going on. Item number 421, please.
Yes, this is with the United States Department of Justice through the Bureau of Justice Assistance through the Sheriff's Office. This is for the license plate readers implementation. This is a grant, in the amount of $13,710 with the term being, I want to make sure this one is right, October the 1st, 2020. It's supposed to be 2020, not 2019, if we could get that clarification, through September 30th, 2021.
Okay.
So I move to approve this grant as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 422, please.
This is with Meals on Wheels America through the Recreation and Maintenance Department, the Senior Services Division. This is for the Fall Food Support COVID-19 Response Fund. This is a grant in the amount of $10,000. The term is September 30th, 2020 through November 30th, 2020.
I move to approve this grant as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. 423, please.
This is with Allison Joe through the Recreation and Maintenance Department for tennis coaching for youth and adults at Johnson Park and at the Rockdael Tennis Center. It's an estimated revenue of $5,400 with a 70-30 split. This is 1 year with option to renew 2 additional 12-month periods.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 424, please.
This is with A Action Janitorial Services Incorporated. This is with the Recreation and Maintenance Department. This is change order number 1 to contract 2020-90. This is for the general custodial services at various county locations and to add custodial services at the Sheriff's Administration Building and the South Precinct. It's a unit price contract and it's an additional $5,718.81 per month.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 425, please.
This is with ACCG, the Association County Commissioners of Georgia for the Fire Rescue Department. This is the 2020 ACCG GSI WCF Employee Safety Grant in the amount of $13,788. This is to purchase washer and extractors, and it needs to be used by December the 1st, 2020.
What does it mean? It needs to be used. I thought it was a permanent thing.
The grant funds need to be spent by the end of the year.
Funds. Okay.
Yes,
I thought you meant
Thank you.
the washer.
I'm sorry.
And so before I move to approve the grant, I just wanted to wondered about this one too, because it looks like we only have 4 or 5 of these at our fire stations, but they're important for keeping all of the equipment and the clothing and all of that clean. So I'm wondering what the other stations do that don't have one of these.
Chief Morgan.
Thank you, Chief Morgan's here.
Chief.
Happen to be passing by, I'll answer that question.
You've been in the neighborhood.
This is a program in the cancer reduction and mitigation that fire departments, fire safety and service people across the nation and ACCG has offered this. We actually have, this will be number 4. And the goal is that every time we build a new station, this is now normal equipment. To answer your question, is currently we actually have, when you go off shift after a major fire, the next shift takes your gear to the 3 existing stations who have these extractors, washes them, dries them, and brings them back to the station. So they're there for you the next shift. So we're moving equipment around to use the ones we have, but every year we're trying to increase the total number. So eventually every station will have one.
Thank you for that explanation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Chief. So you got a system. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your pleasure on this one, Commissioner?
I move to approve this grant as presented.
I second that
Been
motion.
properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 426, please.
This is with Computer Software Incorporated, CSI. This is also with the Fire Rescue Department. This is change order number 2 to contract 2020-30. This is for the software license and services agreement. It's the hosting for the Magnet software. This is to add Magnet and the fire implementation and additional licensing, maintenance, and support costs in the amount of $4,938.36.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. 427, please.
This is with Bennett Fire Products Incorporated through the Fire and Rescue Department. This is change order number 3 to contract 2017-170. This is for personal protective equipment. This is a unit price contract and the contract extension through January 31st, 2021.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that
Been
motion.
properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 428, please.
This is with Strobe Tech LLC. This is for the Fire and Rescue Department. This is for parts and labor service contract for the tower lighting system. This is for the county 911 system, and it's the amount of $925 per month, and the term is January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Item 429, please.
This is with Target Solutions for the Fire and Rescue Department. This is change order number 1 to contract 2018-122. This is for 911 fire training and tracking software. This is to add the fire scheduling software for the workforce management and staffing. It's an additional $12,149 for 12 months.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 430.
This is with Viewpoint Health. It's for the adult accountability courts. It's to provide services for adult accountability courts, and it's a fee schedule. The term is October the 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021.
I move to defer this contract until the next meeting.
And I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions?
Well, it's just some housekeeping. Very good, thank you. Details that I would like to see corrected before we approve the contract.
Okay. All right. It's been properly motioned and second that we defer this until our next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 431 is with Race Roster. This is through the Talent Management Department. This is for the Great Pumpkin Walk Run 5K. No, sorry, 10K. This is through the Cigna Wellness Fund. It is for September 21st, 2020 through October 30th, 2020.
So I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion. However, Chair, are you going to run the team?
The way Commissioner Williams started out with that motion
coming.
sounded like she was about to say that she was going to get in the race walk or something. She got kind of excited there.
But I I do have a question.
I knew you had something. Go ahead.
How does a virtual race work? I mean, I know lots of people are doing it. The Peachtree Road race is virtual this year, but I don't understand how that works.
I think it's a self in motion,
So
isn't it?
listen, I asked that same question yesterday, and we have an expert approaching the podium right now to answer those questions.
Okay, good.
I've done a few of them now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The way it works is this software is actually going to allow us to register and track our time, and then it's going to give us a order of time. So you actually will have a first, second, and third place. But the software is used to actually register everyone. We're excited about it, so I hope you're going to run.
Okay.
Okay, so the software is to register the people, but how do you know? How do you track and know that people are really running that distance?
Well, we'll have a bib. We actually will send out bibs for everyone, and then the bib, the little ticket in the bib, will actually guarantee that someone is honest with their time.
Even though you could technically.
So there's
a little
tracking device inside.
tracker thing in it. Okay.
They're gonna put a chip in you.
Did you see how deflated the chair got?
Well, you know, listen, I'm all for the tracking device, and it's all good. I mean, you know,
He had Evan all ready to run.
I wasn't more excited than Commissioner Williams. She was super excited about it. I thought she was about to jump right into this thing.
So you're doing the 10K, Chairman?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Don't commit to
All right.
anything. Don't commit to.
Next item,
So
please.
then I wondered if I had to wear a pumpkin costume or something to do it.
This is too much.
We have to still vote on this one.
Yes, you do. Still have to vote.
Okay. All right. So what is your pleasure?
So we have a motion and a second.
It's been properly motioned and second. Enough been said. All in
Yes.
favor, say aye.
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 All right. Motion carries. Item 432, please.
Moving along. Okay, so this is with Lakeshore Engineering LLC through the Water Resources Department. This is change order number 3 to contract 2018-204. This is to extend the term through July 21st, 2021.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 433, please.
This is with Snapping Shoals EMC through the Water Resources Department. This is for the radio read utility pole meter at 2121 LaCroix Way in the Fontainebleau subdivision. This is for the conditions of service agreement.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 434, please.
This is with Black and Beach LLC for the Water Resources Department. This is change order number 1 to contract 2018-48E. This is for the on-call engineering services. This is for additional out-of-scope work to add $8,210.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 435 is with the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority through the Water Resources Department. This is change order number 1 to contract 2018-194. This is for the GFA loan for the Snapping Shoals wastewater treatment plant construction project. This is a modification to defer the interest and an accompanying resolution.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 436, please.
This is with the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority through the Water Resources Department. This is change order number 2 to contract 2018-194. This is for the GFA loan for the Snapping Shoals wastewater treatment plant construction project. This is a modification to extend the construction term through the July 31st, 2021, and the accompanying resolution.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 437 is with the Georgia Conservancy. This is through the Planning and Development Department. This is for professional services for the Millstead Village neighborhood. This is for the conditions and assessment and the revitalization plan in the amount of $5,000 for 9 months.
I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. 438, please.
Item 438 is with Rockdale County, Georgia, for the Water and Sewer Revenue Bond Series 2020. It's a letter of direction, notice of redemption, certificate, and other related documentation. This is to consider the adoption of a bond resolution authorizing the issuance of up to $82 million of water and sewer revenue bonds in the Series 2020 and the execution of related documents and to amend policy number 2013-1-20 to increase the debt service coverage ratio from 1.10 to 1.25 and to eliminate the aspirational goal of 1.50.
I move to approve this item as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Any comments, commissioners, on this one?
I am elated to bring this this opportunity to issue these bonds. I'm also very proud of the amount of collaboration and information that we have received in this process. I feel as if we have been involved in every step of the way, every email that came through. I know more about issuing bonds than I ever thought possible, but this is a step in the right direction. We have so many issues with our, not just water, sewer, but our infrastructure, having to look at the future of Rockdale County, especially in places where we may want to expand the sewer system and things like that. This is definitely putting us on the right direction. And I think that all of us should be proud in this effort.
Commissioner Williams?
I think the thing that that is most noteworthy to me too is that the interest rates are so low right now.
Absolutely.
That it made sense to redo these bonds and by saving that interest money in the long term.
Thank you, Commissioner Washington, Commissioner Williams, and thanks to the entire team, finance, terminus. This was as Commissioner Washington stated, a golden opportunity for Rockdale County to continue to move us in the right direction. And here we are celebrating 150 years, and we have to take care of the infrastructure. No one likes to do anything that's going to create a new tax or a new fee, but in terms of keeping the community up and running and moving forward, we have to have an infrastructure that can deal with the demand and growth that we have in our community. So this was certainly a step in the right direction. It's been properly motioned and second. We've heard several comments. Are you prepared to vote? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 439, please.
Yes, this is a Rockdale County right-of-way deed for the Salem Gate Market Project. This is for Old Salem Road. Is 0.43 acres and it's a donation.
I move to approve this deed as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 440, please.
This is a requisition for the Recreation and Maintenance Department. This is for Strategic Datacom Incorporated for the data fiber backbone and the Rockdale Water Resources to the courthouse data room in the amount of $18,801.72.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 441, please.
This is a requisition for the Recreation and Maintenance Department. This is for F.H. Pashkin. This is for the pool resurfacing at Johnson Park in the amount of $91,846.
I move to approve the requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 442, please.
This is a requisition for the Water Resources Department for Caris LLC. This is for polyblend orthophosphate in the amount of $59,696.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
Been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Next item, please.
This is a requisition for the Water Resources Department. This is for Automated Integration LLC. This is for the Control Systems Analyst, SCADA Manager Employment Support in the amount of $74,800.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Next item, please.
This is a requisition for the Sheriff's Office. This is for Comtech Communications of Georgia. This is for the camera system for the Sheriff's Office in the amount of $30,334.42.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Any question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 445, please.
This is an expenditure request to the Finance Department for Document Strategies Incorporated. This is for the temperature scan kiosk for buildings, government buildings, in the amount of $10,485.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. 446, please.
This is an expenditure request to the Finance Department. This is for Document Strategies Incorporated, and these are for temperature scan kiosks for various buildings in the amount of $41,940.
I move to approve this expenditure as presented. I move.
Uh-oh, we lost.
Okay, it's been properly
Yeah.
motioned and second from Commissioner Williams. There, we had a little technical difficulty. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 447.
Okay, thank you. We have one more expenditure request through the Finance Department, also with Document Strategies Incorporated for the temperature scan kiosks for the buildings in the amount of $94,365.
And I move to approve this expenditure request as presented and would like to know where 42 temperature scans are going.
So we could get you the information about where they're located, but they're in all of our government buildings. But okay, so we've got
The temperature scan.
Director
Police
Sanders
just
coming up.
arrived on the scene.
morning.
I couldn't think of 42 buildings that we needed temperature scans in.
We have them at each of the county facilities. So we have 9 fire stations. There are 6 at the sheriff's buildings, 4 in RWR facilities, the senior service center, talent management, the tax commissioner, technology services, the water treatment plant, Johnson Park main entrance, magistrate and probate court entrance, the public defender's lobby, elections, E911, the courthouse main entry, the courthouse lower entry, Costley Mill Event Center, the cooperative extension, code enforcement, there's one in the Board of Commissioners lobby, the Board of Assessors lobby, animal control, the administration building, the accountability lab on West Ave, and accountability court. And we have one more ready for the RWR facility when it's ready.
Okay. Commissioner Williams, we've got them scattered all across the county.
It sounds like it.
It does. It sounds like it. I had a hard time picturing 42 different places. So thank you, Sue, for sharing that.
Thank
They
you.
are serious about them.
Oh, yeah.
I went to the courthouse yesterday and they were not gonna even let me through without getting my temperature scanned, and they are very serious about your temperature when you go
You're
into
absolutely
a
correct.
government building.
COVID doesn't have privileges. You gonna back up, ma'am, or you gonna get tested
Exactly,
once?
they were very serious.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's been properly motioned and second. Are there any additional questions or concerns on this one? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Item 448, please.
Okay, this is a request for surplus of equipment for the Technology Services Department, the State Court, Fire and Rescue Department, Recreation and Maintenance Department, and Water Resources Department.
I move to declare these items as surplus.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, item number 449, please.
Yes, we have a request for 2 volunteer appointments this morning. The first one is for the Keep Conyers Rockdale Beautiful, the KCRB, for Miss Tara Beliki, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name. And for the Conyers Rockdale Library Board, to put Jamie Cabe to fill an unexpired term of Dr. West through December 2022.
I move to approve these appointments as presented.
I second that
Been
motion.
properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 450, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I would like to announce the appointment of the Director of Technology Services. That would be Ms. Margaret A. Moore Jackson.
All right, we have Deputy Director Tisha Carter from our Talent Management Department who's going to present and introduce us to our new Technologies Director.
Good morning again, Chairman and Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm so honored to introduce to you the appointee for our Technology Services Director, Margaret Moore Jackson. Margaret began her federal career with the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Inspector General, and has been promoted throughout federal government. Her management assignments have afforded her the opportunity to manage the following information and technology teams: Electronic Crimes Team, Data Analysis Team, and the Computer Research and Inquiries Team. Throughout her federal career, Margaret has received numerous individual and team awards, including the Executive Recognition Award for OIG's Succession Planning Focus Group, Commissioner of Social Security Team Award for Veterans Administration Work Group, and the National Glenn Roth Award for Exemplary Service in recognition for her efforts and contribution to the passage of the Social Security Protection Act of 2004. She also received a Federal Executive Board Federal Career Award in the category of Outstanding Professional. In addition to these prestigious awards, Margaret has received various performance awards as well as recognition for special acts and service. Margaret has a Bachelor of Science degree from Tuskegee University, a Master of Public Administration degree from Columbus State University, and is a graduate of the Georgia Law Enforcement Command College. She is also a graduate of the Senior Executive Fellows Program at Harvard University, John F. Kennedy School of Government. I present to you Margaret Moore Jackson.
Thank you.
Thank you. As our chairman has referenced numerous times, there's only 2 types of people: those who live in Rockdale County and those who wish they lived in Rockdale County. I am fortunate to be the type that lives in Rockdale County, and now I have the honor of serving my fellow Rockdale County citizens as we collaborate to solidify a foundation to make our county even greater for the next 150 years to come. Thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to serving Rockdale County as your Director of Technology Services.
Let me say welcome aboard, Director Jackson. We certainly are excited to have you on board, and we say hats off to our interim director, Director Sue Sanders, who's worked very closely with Director Tony Holmes and her staff over in talent management during the selection process. We're always super excited when we can find that talent right here in our own backyard. Your resume, and I'm sure, and after having an opportunity to look at your resume, I know that Deputy Director Carter did not have enough time to go through all of the items highlighted throughout your resume, but we are certainly impressed we're looking forward to having you on board. Welcome aboard, and we've got plenty of work ahead of us as we move toward the beginning of the next 150 years. Commissioner Washington, Commissioner Williams, any comments for the new Director of Technology Services?
Welcome. You have a huge task ahead of you, but I know that you have great fortitude.
Okay.
And that you will do great things for this county. And I look forward to working with you and for you to serve this county.
Thanks.
Commissioner Williams?
And my comment too is to say welcome to Rockdale County government. As I looked through your, excuse me, as I looked through your resume, it just went on and on and on and on with all of the managerial kinds of activities that you have done with technology and security and your background in both areas, which is critical really to this particular time in our lives where our technology is so critical to what we're doing and so much in need of security to make sure it's done in a safe, secure way. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Jackson. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
All righty. All right. Very good.
Need to have a
So,
vote.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure here on item 450?
I move to appoint Margaret A. Moore Jackson as the Director of Technology Services.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Very good. Very good. And again, thank you to Director Holmes and to Director Sanders for working to move forward and getting us a Director of Technology Services. Item 451, please.
Yes, this is with Paula Boyd through the state DUI court. This is for a part-time case manager under the grant. It is for an amount not to exceed $30,607. It's for 1 year with 3 12-month renewal periods.
So I'm really happy to move to approve this contract as presented. Paula has been critical to our Stepping Up initiative, to what we're doing in our recovery community, and just has shown herself to be dependable, to be so worthy of having this contract. She, no one knew who Paula was a year ago, and she has just blossomed in the role that she has been doing now. And so I was happy that Judge Bills was interested in having Paula in this position. So I move to approve the contract as presented.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 452, please.
This is with Tammy D. Myers through the Superior Court Drug Court. This is for a part-time case manager under the grant and an amount not to exceed $30,607. This is for 1 year with 3 12-month renewal periods.
I move to approve this contract as presented.
And I second that motion. As Tammy has, Tammy D. Myers. We have two Tammy Myers. This is Tammy D. And she also has done a lot of work with our accountability courts and our Stepping Up program.
All right, it's been properly motioned and second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 453, please.
This is with Rockdale County, Georgia, and Great Southern Wood Preserving Incorporated. This is for the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office agreement. This is for land off Plunkett Road and Sigmund Road. This is for the deed and accompanying documentation. And this morning, if the board is willing to approve this document and the accompanying deed, if you could approve it subject to final approval by the county attorney, so we can work on getting the exhibits right before we present the final documentation.
I move that we approve this agreement, subject to the final approval and edits by the county attorney.
I second that motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay.
So we are down to public comment. I don't have any red cards turned in this morning.
I see Mr. Kellercheck. He don't have no comment?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Historic. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Duly
Okay. Well, we'll move right on into board comments, and I'm gonna start with Commissioner Washington.
The first comment I would like to make is congratulations to my Los Angeles Lakers. Most of you all, anybody who knows me knows that I have been a Los Angeles Lakers fan since we moved to Georgia in 1978. I have started my love for the Lakers with Stormin' Norman Nixon, who was graduated from Southwest Macon, and he came home. He was playing for the Lakers, came home, and went to the Macon Mall. And so all of Macon, Georgia went to the mall, and me living in Jones County, I tried to get to the mall, but I never made it. But I was so impressed that the star came and he played for the Los Angeles Lakers. And we, you know, I've been a Laker fan since, so I've been through all the ups and downs. And so now we have another championship. So I'm super excited about that.
Great.
Let's see, gosh, it's so much. One of the initiatives that Tax Commissioner Tisa Smart Washington and I are working on is we're going to do a reverse trick or treat. And what we have done is we've asked that neighborhood associations that would like for us to come to their communities get in touch with us, and we're going to be going to different subdivisions and giving out candy. It's a COVID type of thing, since we don't think that it's safe for your children to go to different people's houses trick-or-treating. We're coming to the neighborhood associations. We'll be at Lionsgate East, Lake Capri Estates, Hidden Acres subdivision, and Deerwood subdivision. This is actually Commissioner Tisa Smart Washington's idea, and when she first brought it to me, she was like, Sherry, let's go trick-or-treating, let's give away candy and go trick-or-treating. And I was like, what in the world? But as she fleshed out the idea, it made plenty of sense. And thank you to the Public Relations Department for helping us put this together. We are super excited about it, and I'm looking forward to visiting with the children at these particular subdivisions.
And will you be wearing a costume?
We'll see. I'd have to get appropriate costumes.
I just want to know whether you were going as a commissioner or as something else.
You know what? Well, we'll revisit the costume idea as we get closer.
All right.
Another initiative that I am working on with Demetrius Mayat and J. Philip Baker is a 1,000 Black man march to the poll. We are galvanizing the community, trying to make sure that the most underrepresented demographic actually goes to the polls. We will be doing a historic or symbolic march from Wheeler Park to Parker Road in honor of Joseph Lowry, C.T. Vivian, John Lewis for their contributions to the voting right efforts. But most importantly, we're trying to galvanize 1,000, we're specifically targeting Black men in Rockdael and Newton counties to go to the poll on October the 24th to vote. We will begin meeting at Wheeler Park at 8 o'clock, and we will be starting the vote, of course, at 9 o'clock in the morning. We will be asking that the oldest resident of the county cast that symbolic vote, so we're getting that together. And maybe, hopefully, we can honor the oldest eligible voter in Rockdael County at our next board meeting. So we're very, very excited. We've worked very, very hard on this initiative. And this actually came because somebody actually tried to be flippant and smart and saying that we're doing all this voting, we need to get people to, no, marching this summer when we were protesting. They would say, we're doing all this marching, y'all need to march to the polls. So there it is. We are doing a march to the polls in Rockdale and Newton counties. Finally, but maybe most currently, tonight, you have myself, Tisa Smart Washington, and your elected district attorney, Alicia Johnson, along with Pam Brown, our school board member, and our school board member, Akita Palmer. We're hosting the Power of Your Vote, It's Personal. When We All Vote initiative, we'll be talking about numerous aspects of the voting process. Tisa Smart Washington and I are doing a segment on the referendums and the constitutional amendments that are on the ballot. I've done a lot of research on them, so I'm ready to give a whole lot of information. That we're also talking about the process of the absentee ballots. And that sounds like it's pretty simple, but I was over at the Board of Elections the other day, and people had actually left their ballot on the ground and did not put it in the box. So I had to go and get Cynthia Welch to go and pick up the ballots off the ground so that she could collect that. So it's not, everybody doesn't know that there's actually, when you go to look, you have to look for an actual box. So things like that we're trying to inform the community about their vote, what's on the ballot, and of course, the importance of voting. I think one very important aspect of this would be, we have a gentleman, Mr. Keenan Hale, who's a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. His parents are residents of Rockdale County, Dr. Vicki Hale and her husband, Keenan Hale Sr. He is going to talk about the importance of the youth vote and why the young people need to get out and vote. So I'm very excited about that. That is tonight. We will be on Facebook Live from 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. And this is sponsored by the Top Ladies of Distinction. And let's see, I think those are that. One of the things I wanted to say was I would like to commend Dr. Williams, Commissioner Williams, on the homeless woman that she helped. And as that was trending through social media, I realized that, one of the things I love about Rockdale County, as we're celebrating our 150 years, is the fact that we do care so much. And often people, especially elected officials, see homeless people throughout their community often, and you don't often see the elected officials get as involved as Dr. Williams did. And that's one of the things that I love about this community, is that we take off titles and we don't really need the recognition to get involved. We right wrongs. And that was one of the things that I saw in that whole that whole process of her helping the homeless woman. So kudos, Dr. Williams, and thank you so much for all the things that you do in this community. My final comment is that I would like to send prayers and thoughts to Pastor Lett over in Newton County for the homeless shelter being hit by the tornado that went through. If anybody would like to help with that effort, she is accepting donations. So please call her, because there are many homeless Rockdale County residents that also go to the homeless shelter in Newton County. So we really do need to come together to help with that effort. And I am done.
Okay, all right, Commissioner Williams.
Yes, speaking of the Rainbow Shelter in Covington, Pastor Clara Latt does accept a lot of our homeless residents from Rockdale. Since we do not have a homeless shelter in Rockdale, we often place them with her, and the building was heavily damaged beyond use during the tornado that hit Covington on Saturday. I know that there was a group of people who went over Sunday and provided some donations, but as Commissioner Washington mentioned, we can continue to monitor that situation and make sure that Pastor Lett has what she needs to minister to those people who were living with her at the time. I appreciate Commissioner Washington and the efforts she's doing with getting out the vote and clarifying the information, organizing people to go to the polls. It could not be a more crucial time to do that this year. And we have the opportunity not only to vote in a presidential election, but we have just another couple weeks to fill out the census. Again, that is absolutely crucial. It's funding for Rockdale County that comes through that's allocated based on the numbers of people that are counted in the official census. So it's funding from the federal government. It's also representation, not only at the federal level, but also at the state level. So please make sure that you are double checking, triple checking with your neighbors, with your family, with your friends. It doesn't even matter if they live in Rockdale County, because we need every person to be counted. Everybody matters. So early voting has started over at 1400 Parker Road, and we saw the lines yesterday. We saw in the news about places all over Georgia where the lines were, people were waiting hours in line. Give yourself time. It's critical that you do that. Take your water bottle with you, and a snack and a book to read, or whatever you need to do to spend your time, and make sure that you vote. Or you can do like my husband and I did, and you can get your absentee ballot, fill it out at home, either stick it in the mail. If you stick it in the mail, you need to stick it early. But we took ours to the drop box so that it goes directly into the drop box and directly to our Board of Elections. So, but however you choose to do it, make sure you vote. Also, at our next board meeting on October 27th, it's going to be Pink Out Day. Yes. And so we are in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we're asking everyone to wear pink. The meeting, of course, will still be at the auditorium or virtually, but in the middle of COVID, we don't want to forget that there is still breast cancer that's going on, prostate cancer, all kinds of different cancers. You need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and your family members. COVID has not eliminated cancer in any of its forms. And so make sure that you are keeping up with your health and your wellness. So there's the flyer on wearing pink. It says wear your pink in support of breast cancer awareness, and you mask for safety if you are attending in person at the auditorium. So maybe you can get yourself a pink mask too. So those are my comments for today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Williams. I'm going to call up Director Diaz. He has some information he needs to share with us before I go into my comments here. Director Diaz.
Mr. Chairman and Madam Commissioners, did want to share with you all some information we have gotten from the Board of Elections. They will be meeting to vote on adding a new location in Rockdale for early voting.
Yes.
They are encouraging the public to attend their special called meeting, which will be Wednesday, October 14th at 10 a.m. They're going to be holding that meeting via Zoom, and we will share this information with the public via our Facebook, but did want everybody to know that they are meeting to vote on adding Springfield Baptist Church as a second voting location along with Parker Road.
Very good. Thank you, Director Diaz. That is great news. We realized that slightly over 1,500 people, commissioners, voted on yesterday. And if that is any indication of what early voting is going to be like throughout the remainder of this month, we are definitely going to need that additional location. And that's a great segue for me to talk about the response yesterday from all of the local clergy throughout Rockdale County, who was able to actually show up on site with additional folding chairs and bottled water to hand out to the folks who were out in the long line. The line extended all the way around the exterior of the building onto Parker Road. So we were able to provide water, chairs. Also, the Rockdale County Fire and Rescue Department was on site, and I really appreciate the fact that they were there. We have a good number of elderly and senior citizens in our community, so those chairs was a big, big plus. Thanks to all of the clergy. I don't want to get in trouble by trying to name any of the clergy by name. We had several clergy from all over the different faith-based entities here in Rockdale County. They received the text message that we sent out, and they came out in record number with chairs as well as bottled water to assist. I do echo the sentiments of both Commissioner Washington and Commissioner Williams. Pack some patience as you prepare to go out to the polls. The public relations is going to pull up a snippet from yesterday and let us see it, but pack some patience. Again, take your snack. If you have your own stadium chair or lawn chair or something like that, you may want to take it along with you.
Good morning, Rockdale County. Chairman Oz Nesbitt. We're at 1400 Parker Road. What a beautiful sight here in Rockdale County. The citizens of this community have spoken loud and clear.
We're asking that you be patient, you get out there early enough. If you have your own folding chair or lawn chair, or what have you, take it with you. By all means, again, take you a snack or two. The lines are long. We will see the outcome of this additional location from the Zoom meeting that is coming up, discussing the opportunity of having an additional early voting location. So again, thank you to all of the local clergy and all of the faith-based entities that came out on yesterday to assist us with the large crowd. Also to the Conyers Police Department and the Rockdale Sheriff's Office, and our own code enforcement was there as well to assist us with traffic control, logistics, and people control. And I just got to take a moment to say that Ms. Cynthia Willingham and Renee Pfeiffer and the entire staff over at the Board of Elections, they do an awesome job with taking care of folks and getting them in and out. If persons are 75, there was some conflict on it yesterday, but it's actually the age of 75 and older, or if they are disabled. If you're 75 and older, or you are disabled, they will get you to the front of the line, so to expedite you getting in and having an opportunity to vote without having to wait or stand for long periods of time, and we do appreciate that. I do want to remind you, as you are packing your patients, again, it's COVID-19. So they are disinfecting each machine or an area where folks are coming in. So it is going to take a little additional time than normal. So I just wanted to point all of that out. It will be a plus if we're able to get that additional location for voting during early voting. But in the meantime, those of you all who are making your way to 1400 Parker Road, please, sir, please, ma'am, please be patient as we try to accommodate all of our voters. I also want to highlight, as we are celebrating 150 years, I want to make mention of the loss of Miss Laura Bell Curtis Akins. As you know, the Akins family is one of those heritage families here in Rockdale County. They will be celebrating the homegoing service of Miss Laura Bell Curtis Akins. Miss Akins, a long-time resident here in Rockdale County. The visitation will be on October the 16th, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. just down the street on Millstead at the George Levitt Senior Memorial Funeral Home. Again, that's October the 16th, and this is the loss of one of our beloved residents and citizens, Ms. Laura Bell Curtis Akins. We're asking that you keep the Akins family in your prayers as we continue to move forward here in Rockdale County. I also want to take a moment, Director Diaz talked about the Guide to Rockdale County Services booklet. And I remember coming into the county as a resident 20 years ago, and then I also had the opportunity when I first started as Post 1 Commissioner back in 2009, Commissioner Washington. This booklet was a very valuable resource for newcomers into our community. I'm so glad to see that he's brought it back. And he also paid tribute to, at that time, our Chief of Staff and PR Director, Ms. Julie Mills, who was responsible for putting this together. I'm just kind of thumbing through it this morning. It is packed with information about the people and places of Rockdale County. It is a very good guide. This is just another way of us not only celebrating the 150 years, but giving people that hands-on information about the who, what, when, where, and how about Rockdale County. So this is he says there's only 150 copies for right now. Go ahead and grab you one. And I will tell you that it will be very handy to you going forward. We have a lot of things going on in our community. I do want to remind folks that COVID-19 is still very much alive. I was talking with Chief Dan Morgan, who is also our Emergency Management Director, and last week there was a very interesting twist, I might say, to the numbers. The death rate went up here in Rockdale County. We saw an influx or a twist of numbers, commissioners, in a way that was quite interesting. I was monitoring from last Wednesday up until Monday and noticed a very serious uptick here in Rockdale County. We've been navigating now 7 months in this pandemic, and I think there are some people who've gotten a little bit relaxed or comfortable. Keep your face mask on out there in public. Continue to social distance and make sure you wash your hands and sanitize. Those groups are not good places to be for you to be gathered in those groups. Again, we're not just watching what's happening on the state level, but we're also paying attention on the national scene as well. And all of the scientists and doctors are predicting that we're in for a quite interesting into this fourth quarter, but even as we move into the first quarter of 2021, things are still very fluid and quite unpredictable. So please don't take any of this for granted. We just sent out through talent management a nice friendly reminder to all of our employees about what we have to do. And Commissioner Williams, you're absolutely right. It doesn't seem like we've got 42 places to put those temperature check monitors, but we do. And we've got to keep not only our employees safe, but we also have to keep the general public safety as well. So there's so many things that are going on. Happy 150 years, Rockdale County. We have come a mighty long way. Thank you to the folks over at Rockdale Baptist Church, the church in which the county is named after. Again, don't forget to go to the YouTube site and take a look at the YouTube site that commemorates the 150 years of Rockdale County. You're going to see family and friends, and you're going to see a lot of people you hadn't seen in a long time. PR done a fantastic job moving throughout the county, getting sound bites from so many different people. A lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces have moved into Rockdale County. I like to say Rockdale County is kind of like a bowl of fruit cocktail. We got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and that's what makes it taste all so good. And I know the staff get a little odd with me when I start comparing analogies with food, and I know it's at the lunchtime hour, but I just couldn't find, Satara, a better way to describe it than a bowl of fruit cocktail. Not too many cherries, too many grapes or pineapples, just a little blend of this, that, and other, Dr. Kimbrough, to just kind of make it all taste so good. I'm going to put one director on the spot for just a second as we begin to wrap this meeting up. I'm going to ask Director John Moretto, who has been working very diligent with the folks over at the Lake Capri subdivision. Just come on up, Director Moretto, and just give us a quick update of the meeting you had last night at the HOA for the fine folks in Lake Capri. As you all know, the bridge is out over on Rock Bridge Road there in the Lake Capri area. Director Moretto.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the time. So last night we met with the Lake Capri community. They were very concerned about the cut through traffic through the area, as well as the speeding, as well as the bridge. We were out there with the Sheriff's Department. It was really nice to see Sergeant Peak, as well as a couple other members out there. The main point of the meeting was the Sheriff's Department did request, did suggest that we could close part of the road for a cut through, to eliminate cut throughs. From the RDOT standpoint, that's something we don't recommend. It could have a lot of unintended consequences. However, the Homeowners Association is going to take that up with other members of the community and present that to the BOC if they see fit. There were some other mitigation measures that we did discuss, including possibly putting some additional detour signs out, a lot of additional police presence. So please, if you're in that neighborhood, please slow down, obey the speed limit, and also try to avoid that cut through. That's more for local residents than it is for actual cut throughs. So good meeting. We're going to have some follow up to that as well. Some additional traffic counters to determine how effective our measures are going to be, but very good meeting.
Thank you, Director Moretto. We can certainly identify with the people over in Lake Capri. This has been a major strain on their community. It's a very quiet area over there, and to bring in the amount of traffic that has had to be detoured through there is really taking them out of their comfort zone. We're asking that you be patient as we move toward a solution. As I stated to several of the folks from Lake Capri, this will not be an overnight fix with the bridge there going across the lake. It will take us a good amount of time to get it done. We are not announcing a date because we don't want to be boxed into a date with the amount of engineering and work that has to be done. Also, due to COVID-19, there's been some delay on materials. So there's a lot of factors that are involved. I do empathize with the residents over at Lake Capri. They're seeing a good amount of traffic that they've normally not seen before. And I do appreciate the Sheriff's Office working with us, and what Director Moretto said about if you happen to going through that area, you normally just go a straight shot up Rockridge Road, but you're going to have to take a detour. You might want to slow down. The Sheriff's Office has really increased its patrols and visibility over there. You're going to be mad with nobody but yourself. You get a traffic citation for zooming through that neighborhood like a bat out of hell. So I'm just glad that the sheriff is there and that we will be monitoring all of that traffic. Dr. Gibbs, you don't go that route, do you? Okay, very good. All right. Director Rutledge, is there any need, Commissioner Washington, you travel that route?
Only when I try to go the back way.
Okay, I saw you perk up when I said that. That's what,
No,
don't want you getting a traffic citation in there. Slow down.
Well, that's
Director Rutledge, go right ahead.
direction.
No, Mr. Chairman, no need for executive session today.
The way the wheels on my car move.
Uh-oh.
Have to be mindful that you have to slow down.
You've got some updates for us, Director Rutledge?
No, Mr. Chairman, there's no need for executive session. Was that the question?
No, right. I was going to ask you about executive session, but one last thing, one. Let's give Mr. Derek Monk, the pianist, let's give him another round of applause. He did a great job. We've used him on several occasions to highlight events and activities here in Rockdale County. He is a professional and he's also a resident of Rockdale County, so we appreciate. I'm excited at the fact that we're not going into executive session.
Me too.
With that being said, I think happy Tuesday. Don't forget to go vote early, pack some patience, and happy anniversary, Rockdale County. This meeting is adjourned.
Sesquicentennial, something. I better not say that. Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
We're just gonna record Satara saying it and just